It happened because I got left behind in a gunfight.
You got captured.
Yeah, me and one other person, one other sergeant. And I thought pretty much, you're going to die right here, but they didn't. They took our shoes, loaded us up with things to carry, and marched us off toward Cambodia. So it was clear that they were moving a camp out of the way of the American patrols.
Mm-hmm.
And they promised that they would not shoot us if we kept up. And they said, if you don't keep up, we still won't shoot you. We'll beat you to death. So we hustled along. We kept up. And like I say, I had conversation with this Chinese colonel who was in the PLA mode of treatment of prisoners. And their mode, even, this date goes back to World War II. When they captured Japanese, they didn't immediately just shoot them. They found it of more value to interrogate them and then convert them to their side.
Is that what they tried to do? Convert you to their cause?
One of the first questions...
Partisan of you, something like that?
One of the first questions was, what are you, as a black man, doing in a colonial war, knowing the treatment that is afforded your people in places like Detroit in 1967? They were very worried.
Did that make you pause briefly?
It made me pause and consider my position at that time. You see, the man that I was taken with was a white man, a white sergeant. He was an E5, I was an E6. I was in charge, and he was my second in charge. But they assumed that he was in charge because I was black. So the heavy lifting, as they would call it, in the interrogation fell on him. And I got the conversion talks, and he got the hard interrogation. And I was pretty much safe as long as he stuck to name, rank, and serial number. And he was one of those tough guys,
Wow.
You gave them name, rank, serial number, and do strange and impolite things with your relatives. And so it was a couple days before they finally figured out the difference in rank, etc.
How did you get out?
Well, they made a mistake. They changed me to this tough guy sergeant as we did our daily walks hauling stuff through the mountains. And, we knew we were going north and west, which was into Cambodia. And this, we didn't want to go there. And then we were on mountain trails, and we looked in the valley through the fog, and we saw American troops. And he said to me, I'm going home, or I'm going to die, but I'm not staying here. And we're chained together. Oh. So we had to figure out a way to get rid of the guards. We were at the end of the column, and there were only 3 guards back there.
Yeah.
And so, one of them was the guy who had done the rough stuff interrogation on him. One of them was the guy who had replaced Colonel Han and was doing the rough stuff, interrogation on me and the other guy we didn't know. We had to get rid of those guys. And so my friend took care of 2 of them, and I took care of the guy who had been interrogating me. And we ran for the Americans.
How were you chained? You were chained hand to hand?
No. We had shackles and a 4-foot, 5-foot chain on our ankles. And, our hands had manacles and a shorter chain. We could use our hands, but
right,
not completely freely. So
the 2 of you must have planned. I mean, you must have sort of had a plan then, like you would be a signal, and now it's time to move.
Yeah, well, one of the guys back there guarding us had a machete on the back of his pack. And so my friend got a hold of that and used that to good advantage. And I managed to get my wrist chains around the 3rd guy, around his neck. And so we got away and got a good head start back down the trail. The really goofy part about it was, as they realized something was wrong and they started chasing us, and we got close to our people and shots were exchanged between our units and the Vietnamese, and we were in the middle. And so, we were screaming, "Hey, it's Gillam and Egzinski," and they were saying, "Oh, those guys were dead 4 days ago." They thought we were English-speaking Vietnamese hiding out there. So we had to kind of like briefly show ourselves and scoot in, into the American part of the gunfight. Basically, we had to surrender to our own guys.
Yeah.
So, it just goes to show you the craziness.
Yeah. So then the chains are taken off, and you're just immediately back in circulation?
As it happened, the unit that we ran to was my company, my infantry company. So, we had files and things that, we used to sharpen machetes and axes and stuff like that. So we got the chainsaw, and there were a couple people wounded in the gunfight. So I got a pair of shoes. My buddy got a pair of shoes. When they got medevac, we just took their rifles in, and the company commander says, "Well, you know where they are, right, Gil?" I go, "Yeah, I do." And I had revenge on my mind. I had payback on my mind. So I took the point, and we started hunting again.